You know, it's mixed fortune for Nigeria regarding the state of insecurity in the northern part of the country. While armed banditry appears to be festering in the northwest, the country is gaining one upper hand in the war against insurgency in the northeast. According to the latest Global Terrorism Index, GTI, Nigeria has moved to 6th place in the ranking, following successes recorded in the fight against Boko Haram insurgents. Now, the country dropped 2 places from 4th, a position it has occupied since 2017. Published by an independent and non-profit think tank, the Institute for Economics and Peace, the latest GTI indicated that Nigeria, Syria, and Somalia are the only countries among the 10 most affected by terrorism to get improved score from 2020 to 2021. Meanwhile, some northern farmers are lamenting over continued attacks by terrorists, forcing them to abandon their farms. According to them, if the attacks are not checked, production will be affected and a food crisis may hit the country soon. Food crisis.
Let me start by saying that I want to congratulate our soldiers.
Okay.
For their dedication, for their sacrifice, for their professionalism. Yes, we've criticized them a lot of times, but we cannot deny the fact that they'll be able to achieve a lot in the Northeast when it comes to insurgency. A lot of things accounted for that. One of these is improved equipment. Since the Tucano jets came in, things have changed. It turned out to be a game changer. Second was the infighting between the structures among the insurgents. You know, when the ISWAP leaders decided that they wanted to unify the insurrection and they killed Shekarau, who was the other faction of Boko Haram, you know, because there was no leadership for the Boko Haram faction, a lot of their soldiers surrendered. They were in disarray, surrendered. Some of them joined the bandits. Some of them surrendered to the government. And then we were lucky that when it comes to ISWAP, soldiers were able to kill the leader of ISWAP. And then the person that was appointed to replace him was also killed, which affected them too in terms of structure and leadership and all that. So we'll be able to push them back. And when they were doing what they were doing, we criticized our soldiers. Now that our soldiers have improved, we are not out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
It's just that we are better placed to coordinate what we are doing in Northeast, and also to be able to, and then certain things also help us in achieving what we have achieved. For the farmers, the problem with the farmers basically has to do with the bandits. You know, because all over Northwest, the bandits have taken over, and they are not alive, and the government seems helpless. Again, what we are going to do is to tell government to do more than what they are doing, but most importantly, to change the strategy that they are using now. You cannot fight bandits state by state because it's a mobile force. If you fight them in Sokoto State, they will move to Zamfara State. If you fight them in Zamfara State, they will move to Niger State. And you continue to just waste your time. Yeah. The best way to fight these bandits is for government to provide the resources and take them on at the same time. Yeah. You must take all the states at the same time. That's just so that they won't have opportunity to move from state to state. It's either they surrender or they move out of Nigeria.
Sam, my worry at this point is a food shortage, a food crisis on top of what we have.
Yeah, it's real, you know, and we're all facing the consequences. The prices have gone up. In fact, Nigeria's inflation, report is all built around the prices of food and all that. It's a very difficult one. Government is doing whatever it can, to ensure that we don't, drop into a situation where we're talking about food insecurity and all that. But you and I know that this is all built around how safe our environments are, not just in the Northwest, the Northeast, North Central. It's a growing challenge where bandits have taken over, a large part of territories and laying taxes on citizens. If you don't pay, you can't go to your farms to harvest. So it will seem like a vicious circle, but government must respond to it. I mean, we've surrendered our powers to government to take care of us. That's what it is. We just have to find, more creative ways to deal with it. It will seem to me, let me just delve, into this a bit, some kind of situation relief for government that, this report, has come in. But even the Global Terrorism Index report says that even though the number of deaths, has come down, the number of attacks has also gone up.
Yeah.
So what has come down is just number of deaths, but it does not say that the number of attacks against ordinary Nigerians is not on the rise. So we just have to live with that fact, and government must find the will to deal with certain things. We've had stories about, we know who they are, we know who their sponsors are, but government doesn't seems to lack the courage to want to pick on these people, name them, and shame them. So we must find a way to deal with certain things. Mayor has talked about the need for a coordinated, response to the entire challenge that we have in the security sector.
Yeah.
We just must find a way to deal with it. Food security is a huge challenge. We've seen, the display of rice, bags of rice in Abuja and all that. But how much of that is impacting on everyday, living for ordinary Nigerians? We want to see, the claims made in the area of, agric revolution impact Nigerians.
All right, Jide, so let's get back to you. Jide, these are not laughable. They are not laughing times for us. We're still in the woods. I cannot imagine a food crisis at a time like this, even when we are bothered about insecurity here and there.
Yes, the food security, insecurity that we are facing is largely because the major food belt of our country is in the northwest and some parts of north central. And these are areas where bandits are running rampant. We've made progress in the northeast, no doubt about it. The death of Shekau in the hands of Abu Musab al-Banawi has really helped. It wasn't our troops that killed Abaka Shekau, neither were they the ones that killed Abu Musab al-Banawi. After killing Shekau committed suicide, seeing that he had been surrendered in the Sambisa forest, one of his loyalists who had fled to Cameroon came back to Nigeria and continued to run the group, because a good number of them were reluctant to join ISWAP because they felt that those of them who were commanders in the Boko Haram group would become ordinary fighters if they joined ISWAP, especially given the years of animosity since the Boko Haram group broke up in 2016. So the new leader led his fighters to Abu Musab al-Banawi's habitation and fired him. He died as a result of his injuries. I've heard a few journalists say our soldiers took out Abu Musab al-Banawi. That is not true, and not even the army will publicly claim that they killed Abu Musab al-Banawi. Well, the truth is, the infighting within the groups resulted in the weakening of the Boko Haram group, whereas ISWAP has become even more dangerous, because the ISWAP group is the group that had the better weapons and is the group that consistently takes on the military. So Shekau's group is very weak at this time, and they used to have far more attacks, especially on civilian populations, more than even ISWAP, because ISWAP never believed in confronting civilians, but fighting civilian JTF, the army, the police, and other security agencies. So the infighting within them has made the two groups weaker, and that is why we are seeing less attacks. But the fact that we have seen less attacks does not mean that the groups, or less deaths, does not mean that the groups are still not dangerous. More and more people have been kidnapped in the last 2 years than at any time in the history of the Boko Haram insurgency. Boko Haram initially, or the ISWAP, were really not kidnapping people. But these days, they kidnap people and expect to be paid hefty ransoms. So those ones may not have been calculated among terrorist actions taken by both groups, but it is dangerous all the same, because a lot of our people find it difficult to move, especially within Borno North and the highway Maiduguri to Damaturu, because ISWAP continues to kidnap people over there. What we have seen from this report is that in terms of terrorism, this Global Terrorism Index focuses more on what is happening in the Northeast, because they see what is happening in the Northeast as terrorism. Whereas a good number of what we have seen happening in the Northwest can actually qualify to be terrorist attacks. If those ones were seen as terrorist attacks, then these figures will be a lot higher, because they are talking about 69 deaths. Some of the things going on, attacks on communities, killing of people, especially in Kaduna, Zamfara and other places, are terrorist actions. You come into a community, you burn down the community, you kill people. That's terrorism. But clearly, in their computation of terrorist actions, those areas, the things that happen in those areas were not listed as terrorist attacks. So if they were listed as terrorist attacks, definitely these figures will be a lot higher, and Nigeria won't be in 6th position. We probably will be competing between 2nd and 3rd. So it's not yet uhuru for us. We made progress in the northeast. I'm happy to report that. But we now have a very big problem on our hands in the northwest, which we have to deal with. Every day we get reports of people's communities being burnt, people being killed, people being kidnapped on the road, in the northwest and north central, especially Niger State, which is Nigeria's largest state, at more than 10,000 square kilometers. So we've got to realize that whatever progress we make in the northeast, if we do not focus on the northwest and deal decisively with these enemies of the Nigerian state, Nigeria will increasingly become more difficult to live in for our people. Our people can't access their farms. People work hard. At the end of the day, they can't even reap their hard work, because these guys would rather demand that they pay levies or before they can harvest, or even take their lives. So we are seeing even more states in the northwest now coming into the picture because of terrorism and wanton killings that are going on there, especially now Kebbi State. Kebbi State, like 2 years ago, was not really in the news for attacks by bandits. But we are seeing that happening, and we are seeing students being kidnapped. I see kidnap of students, innocent students, and marrying them off to bandits as pure terrorism. But as I said earlier, those ones were not even listed among terrorist acts by the Global Terrorism Index. So we've got to really work harder in the northwest.
Well, Mayor, security is something we cannot begin to hold long conferences about. You talked about government going the whole hog.
Yes, we have to do that, because the problem that we have in the northwest and some part of north central is, like I said earlier, is because, one, we have allowed these bandits to be able to come up with something that is profitable to them. And when people make money or they get rewarded for certain things, you understand, they will be encouraged to do those things. They kidnap people. In some areas, they impose taxes. In some areas, people have to pay them to be able to go to their farms or even live in their community. So they're able to...
somehow we make their lives easier.
Yeah, so they're enjoying. They use that money. Yes, they use that money to buy good equipment to be able to fight the army. They'll be able to recruit people. Even some of them, government officials go to beg them to be able to give them relief or negotiate with them and all that. We have to realize that, look, we must not reward banditry.
Oh, yeah.
We have to face them and stop the nonsense they are doing. And we have to do that by showing enough resolve to be able to do it. Government is not showing enough resolve to solve that problem. They know what to do. What they are just doing now is cosmetic. And they cannot achieve anything with the way they are fighting the bandits.
Some makes you begin to wonder if somebody somewhere is gaining from all this rubbish that's going on.
Mayor has just alluded to that. What we have on our hands is an industry, with what appears to be value chains along the line. People get to supply bandits, there is some kind of business, going, including prostitution. So what are we talking about? People the bandits get drugs, shipped to them, they get fuel shipped to them and all that.
Oh,
so a whole industry, and that industry is what we need to break.
Until that cycle is broken.
Absolutely. So question, who is benefiting from it? A whole lot of persons. We've talked about government's, seeming lack of will, to deal with these things. Names have been mentioned. Okay, we've heard names, being bandied here and there, and nothing is being done. We're told some people are going to appear, and be prosecuted. We are yet to hear about, such action being taken in the court. So a whole lot of issues. We must be sincere. Government must be sincere about its decision to confront, the security challenges that face the country.
Once and for all.
Once and for all. We don't really have a choice about it. And I dare say that, in spite of all that has been said, we agree. Tremendous progress has been made in the area of infrastructure and all that. But the Buhari-led administration must understand that one key legacy it must leave for this country is in the area of security. If he achieves everything and security fails, then nobody remember whatever good he has done to the country and the economy. That's the truth.
Okay, and this is just to remind the viewer that journalists hangout will take the issues based on the facts available to us, mold opinion, allow you to make up your mind. And we're talking about insecurity in the country, more so a threatening food wahala, food insecurity. If food security becomes a top problem, then we are damned.
Yes.
Then we are damned.
Yes. We can't add that to our problem. We have enough problem.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now when we already declared the poverty capital of the world, and then you add the food crisis to it, then I wonder how else what the appellation would be if you then add that to an already bad situation. So.
Yeah. Okay. It's only natural to ask at this time, where do we go from here? Jide, you like to take that on? Where do we go? What next? What next to do?
No, we have to come up with the right strategy to deal with banditry in the north, especially Niger State and the states of the northwest. Apart from Kano and
I think
Jigawa,
Zamfara is in the mix.
States of the northwest are reeling under attacks by bandits. A lot of the killings going on there don't even get reported. It's unfortunate that a lot of those killings don't get reported. Bandits will storm markets on market days, do what they like, and walk away. Bandits will set ablaze people's homes based on information that the people had the guts to set up a vigilance group, because they don't even want to be confronted in any way. So they see the vigilance group members as threats to their activities. So we have to come up with the right strategy. Some of what we are talked about here repeatedly, I heard the governor of Kaduna State talk about them recently. The need for us to have simultaneous military campaign across those areas that are dangerous. When you go to Niger State, for example, many people were happy that the Suleja-Mina highway was safe. But last week, that Suleja-Mina highway was taken over by bandits who operated for a long time. Not only did they pick up construction workers, they also set ablaze vehicles. Now, until now, they never got on that road. And that is the road that leads people mainly from the Federal Capital Territory to the Niger State capital.
Yeah.
Because the airport there is not really active. So how do people get to the state capital if bandits have now made it a duty to stay on that highway and kidnap people? Many local governments in the state are even no-go areas as we speak. Especially even some of them bordering states, a state like Kebbi, for example. That's Munya local government. Now, close to Kwara State, Mokwa, we are now seeing attacks by bandits in that area. Again, before now, the area was considered as safe. So, we need to stop these guys having the feeling that they can operate with reckless abandon. We have denied Boko Haram the right to operate when they like. And that's why the attacks have come down. Attacks on military bases have come down. They know over there that if they try to move, Tucano jets will scramble into the air and deal with them decisively. But in the northwest, that is where we need to do a lot of hard work.
Thank you.
Otherwise, hunger will result from all of this.
Okay, we are joined now by Elder Dari. He is in Kaduna. Good evening, Elder. Good afternoon.
Yes, and to the guests in the studios and to Babajide for Abuja. You see, when it starts from the rear, the political will is not there. It's not. Our gallant men and women can deal with these menace. But be honestly speaking, they can deal with this menace. But the political will is not there. I mean, we have a whole lot of retired men and women in this country. If the security has gone beyond the president, call for a meeting of these retired men and let them provide solutions. I mean, is it not laughable that we are having a retired general as the president of Nigeria and insecurity is keeping all of us up? We can't go to, our children can't go to school, we can't go to farm. I mean, on we're being harassed, and in our homes, we can't sleep. So what are we saying? What are we saying? And to even make things worse, when we meet with some of these gallant men and women one-on-one, they too,
thank you, Elder. Thank you, Elder. Thank you. Mayor, so we say all hands on deck. We talk about information volunteering, very key here. Nigerians seem to have that habit, give information where information is needed.
I don't agree so. I think it's because the government has not done the needful. They didn't put, if you don't put a structure in place, you cannot expect, to be able to gather information from people. There's no way you could get it. There was a time this government introduced whistleblowers. For some time, it worked because they were getting information from different places. Nobody is hearing anything about it now. So it depends on it depends on what you put on ground. And that is why our intelligence forces have to do more than what they are doing. You understand? Because it's not rocket science. I may not be a general, but it's not rocket science to be able to handle the issue of banditry. One, we allow it to fester. We should have contained it much earlier. But we didn't take it seriously, and we allow it to fester. Now it has become a major problem for us because the government do not not have the will. Two, they do not have the resources to be able to confront the problem. Because, like I said earlier, like Governor Rufai said, what they are doing now cannot work. If you know one or two things about military warfare, it cannot work. The only way things can work, and they have to look for the resources to be able to do it, is to mobilize enough soldiers, have enough equipment, and take on all the states in the northwest and part of north central simultaneously. That's the only way it could work. And it takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of will, which the government doesn't want to do. And they just think that if they close their eyes, the problem will go away. No, it won't go away. The only way we can stop the bandits is to show superior firepower. And push them far into Sambisa forest.
And tell them you cannot have
You cannot, yes, you cannot do that here.
At least
but
not
if we do this, part of the problem is that it took us a long time to really see them as terrorists. You know, people were going to them, people were trying to appease them, they were looking at them as if they are just thugs who just want that wants money and all that. But these people are terrorists, they are bandits, it's a major business for them, they are making a lot of money from it.
Sam, there's a particular terrorist in Sokoto State who got eulogized by a musician.
I was going to say, I was going to say that.
Turkey.
Yeah, when Mayor spoke, they become celebrities. I mean, when people come around and conduct, praises, around individuals, they become, big boys. And well, I don't know about ladies now. They become big boys. So it's very disturbing. Okay, we've gotten to the very sad point where criminals are being celebrated, and then the young ones who ordinarily should see these things as evil I begin to think we should emulate these people.
Enamored.
Yes, they're excited. They want to go out. They want to be like them. That's the sad thing. And we have a huge recruitment ground, and that's why they find it so very easy, to get people on their side, especially the youth. Beyond singing their praises, these guys want to pick up arms and also make money because it comes so easy, as it were. But we can't allow this to fester. It's going on for too long.
Yes. Look at
the communities.
They have motorcycles.
They operate mostly with motorcycles.
Free,
freely unhindered.
But look how harmed they are. In a country that has a government, the primary duty of government is protection of life and property. And if the government think they have done well in infrastructure or they have run the economy to some extent, if they fail in the issue of security, then they have failed.
That's the only Nigerians remember.
Because that's the primary duty of government. They have failed.
You can
if you do all the infrastructures that you want to do, if you cannot protect the lives and property of your citizens, if people cannot go to their farms, if people cannot live comfortably in their community, if some bandits can just come to a village and just sack everybody and burn houses, if walking on Nigerian roads become a problem, you understand? If you cannot travel from the Federal Capital Territory to a big state like Niger, then the government have failed. That's the bottom line. If they lie, let them build railway from here to Kafacha. They have failed.
Jide, as we make to bury the subject matter, it's not all gloom. There's a way out of this mess, don't you think?
Yes. Hopefully, we can achieve total victory in the Northeast. That's a matter of time. I don't want to put a timeline to it because insurgency is not predictable. But at least we've made significant progress in that part of our country, and we can continue to make progress. The GTI reported that for 2 straight years, Cameroon recorded more Boko Haram attacks than Nigeria. Now, this group is based in Nigeria. If it is going outside of our country to attack people in Cameroon, it means that it is becoming more and more difficult for them to operate freely here. So that's good news, and I congratulate our armed forces, especially the current leadership of the armed forces, for working together for the synergy that has made that evident progress possible. I also congratulate the commanders. Some of them put their lives on the line. The Chata Commander, Operation Lafia Dole, and his men. It's not easy. That we are seeing more and more of them even come out to surrender is good news, because the more they surrender, the weaker they become. So we have to sustain that momentum in the Northeast so that total victory will come our way in the fullness of time. But as I've said earlier, the latitude that these guys have to operate in the North Central and Northwest has to be challenged.
Yeah.
Now they are even attacking people, especially in the North Central. They are going to churches to kidnap people. They are kidnapping people in their cars because it is now more difficult to attack schools and kidnap students. They like kidnapping students because they know that that will definitely give them front page news, and it will draw the attention of government. But when they attack bus passengers and the rest, many times they don't even, such attacks don't even get reported. But if the attack is cool, the media will take it over, report it, and give it the attention that it deserves, and draw the attention of government to that attack. A lot of our people get kidnapped daily that government is not even aware of.
Yeah.
So we have to come up with the right strategy, come up with the equipment that we need. We must continue to equip the military so that they will be able to turn the heat on these guys, especially in the Northwest.